And the mu'min, the believer, by following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the believer will automatically recognize the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us, he has given us a prescription that you don't have to wait till you get to the grave to see the image of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You don't have to wait till the day of judgment to see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can see him in this world in your dreams. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us, "Man ra'ani faqad ra'ani fa inna shaytan la yatamathalu bi." In Hadith of Bukhari, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Whosoever has seen me in a dream has truly seen me in a dream, because the shaitan can't take my form in a dream." But even if you see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a dream, it has to be according to the features and description of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a hadith. You can't see any person claiming that he is a prophet, and he tells you that, and then you just believe it. No. It will be in accordance to exactly the way the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. For example, he will have a face that he had a face that had a complexion of whiteness with a touch of red. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a broad forehead. He had hair that was kept. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had hair that he used to comb back, and sometimes he used to flick it back. This was not some hairstyle. This was truly oiled, hair that was oiled. And then basically the Prophet ﷺ used to comb it, and then he used to flatten his hair, and he used to go all the way back, sometimes to his earlobe, and sometimes he used to drop to his collarbone, and sometimes he used to grow all the way to the extent of his shoulders. This was the Prophet ﷺ. 3 sunnah he had: lumma, jumma, wafra. Lumma is up to, these are 3 descriptions in Ahadith of Tirmidhi. Lumma is up to his earlobes, Jumma is up to his collarbones, and Wafra is up to the Prophet ﷺ's extent of his shoulders. Prophet ﷺ had a nose, not too sharp and not blunt either, it was in between. Rasulullah ﷺ had a slight bridge on his nose. Rasulullah ﷺ had, he had a wide mouth. He did not have a small mouth, he had a wide mouth. Rasulullah ﷺ, if you could ask the brothers to please move forward, thank you. Brothers, please try and move forward. Come up to here, brothers, and move forward. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had his shoulders joints, his elbow joints, his knee joints, and so on were broad. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his eyebrows were not joined together, but they were slightly curved. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his pupils of his eyes were dark and black. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he always had a smile on his face. Whoever sees the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is including dreams as well. If you see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam first time, you feel an awe. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam inspires awe into you, and then you continue to see him, and then you feel at ease with him, and you feel love of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is all described by the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a beard that was thick, and his beard was his full fist, and his fist and his hand was a large hand. In fact, he had a very soft hand. Anyone that does musafaha with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anyone that will meet the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a dream, his hand will be exactly as described by Anas radiallahu anhu. It has to be exactly described like that, which is very cushiony. His hand had a very soft. Now some people, you shake their hand, and they have a nice cushiony feeling to their hand, a very warm, welcome they give. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had that. And his hand was also, his skin was also, it basically, silk, the way silk can be soft. That's how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's hands were. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had a thin line of hair on his chest, going all the way down to his belly button. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, behind his shoulder blades, he had the seal of prophethood, which was a small lump with a bit of hair on it. That is between his shoulder blades. There will be no one born until the day of judgment with that naturally between their shoulder blades. It is only Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that has had that. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the sole of his feet, he had a bridge. He had a breach in the sole of his foot, and this showed the courage that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had a lot of meat on around the heels of his feet. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he used to walk as if he's coming down a hill. These are all described in ahadith, right? He used to coming down a hill, meaning that he used to swiftly move his feet in. And unless you see a person who can imitate this to you, or you see the Prophet ﷺ walking in a dream, it is not clear of exactly how this, because this Rasulullah ﷺ used to walk very swiftly on the ground, but he used to walk very humbly. Imagine you're coming down a hill, what you would do is that you will come down, but you would put your feet down firmly. You put it fast and firmly down. And Prophet ﷺ, when he used to walk on normal ground, Prophet ﷺ used to walk in this very swift manner. In fact, his Sahaba used to find it hard to catch up with the Prophet ﷺ. And they say that when the battle got tough, when the battle got really tough, they say we used to hide behind the Prophet ﷺ on the battlefield. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So he had a great courage. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he used to become angry, then his cheeks used to go red, and there used to be vein on his forehead that would swell. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's hair was dark and black, and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's hair was not wavy, nor was it straight, it was in between. And the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he passed away, his Sahabi says that I counted on the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's head, I found 17 white hairs. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now you see the Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in a dream, you will have to see him with all the details that I've just given you. And if you see him in a dream with all the details that I've just given him, then you will definitely know that is the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You can't just see any individual and he claims to you that I am the Prophet in a dream and you just take that as granted.